I mean,
Yo, we're back.
Annihilation is worse than that because Annihilation is production buildings. You know what also
Yeah.
is a production building?
Mm-hmm.
The warp portal that teleports into other warp portals, including itself.
Ah, this is so... Okay, so everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, basically when Dawn of War 3 came out, they had... their main game mode was actually... yes, it was probably a bit inspired by quote-unquote MOBAs, but to a degree, it was actually just looking at a certain set of problems that Dawn of War 1 had in terms of how its core mechanics worked, and Dawn of War 3 tried to be similar to, and keep the multiplayer focused. So the idea was everyone has a pylon in their base. When that pylon, that is immovable, when that pylon is dead, your team loses. Period. There are, 2 cannons and all that, and you can, take down the shields, then the cannons, and yes, it was a bit staged, and, you could say, oh, is this maybe... It was just 2. So, the whole center stuff missed, etc. But the thing is, it was still an RTS. It was basically just expanded headquarters, as in, there's one building you have to take down. And that was cool, because, again, it allowed them in design a few things. First of all, you didn't need to clock your base anymore. It was legitimately just you can build your base, like your buildings everywhere, which was cool because this meant you built forward bases, which you needed because you could only reinforce at buildings, at production buildings. And that was actually pretty genius because it meant that you had this whole risk-reward thing of, okay, what do I place in front and can pump out fast to the front line. Meanwhile, okay, game, are you not working? Wait a second. It should. Anyway, who cares? I can fix that later. Shaders are compiling anyway, so boop. So basically, that was a cool aspect and had some really good dynamics. The game needed other balance aspects, but that was a good dynamic. The thing is just, people were dumb as shit. And I'm like, I know usually you shouldn't talk... people say, oh, don't talk about... No, people were legitimately too fucking dumb to understand the game and harassed the lead director when they were like, why is there no button to run back to base? First of all, you're not supposed to have a backward base like in Dawn of War 2 or Company of Heroes. Second of all, when he said you can just use your mouse to do that, again, they attacked him, which is like, fuck you. Genuinely filth behavior, in my opinion. Everyone who has a YouTube channel or try to have an opinion should be deleted from the internet after that. That is just so fucking stupid. Anyway, then people said, oh, we want Annihilation because that's a better game mode. See, Annihilation is... You have to destroy all the production buildings of the enemy. This is not a good game mode for the game they had. Actually, I would say Annihilation is the one game mode most RTS had because, it was just the thing the first people thought of. But it's not by far the best RTS game mode ever made. That's Assassination and Supreme Commander / Total Annihilation. We don't need to talk about that. Everyone who disagrees with that doesn't know how RTS works, period.
Headquarters is fine too.
Headquarters, that's the thing. Headquarters is fine because they actually got close to being that good. But let me just tell you what the difference is. Annihilation means you need to destroy all production buildings. Now, if you play like a very old RTS where everything is static, that you can build, let's say, for example, Command & Conquer, Age of Empires, fine. And even if you in some form you can say that in some games, like for example, how's it called? StarCraft, it's also not that bad because the one faction that can move their buildings can't move all of them and only very, very, very slowly, and also everyone can still attack them while they're moving. So that's an upside. The thing is now, that's not really interesting. It's just a grind match. And if you remember, we talked about this a while ago, a lot of people rather cosplay in RTS to pretend that they're playing a game good, because it takes a long time, rather than, actually learning how a game works, And in that regard, having clear objectives to defend and attack is much more interesting, because it makes a dynamic on, okay, when do I push on what? So, also a thing that is, as I said aloud, that you could build forward bases, which again made your buildings more of a target, because if you built in the back, you were just at such a disadvantage. The fact I always built forward bases just gave me the win over everyone. We played in the beta and around the launch, I think. We played against the completely overtuned Space Marines, which were still overtuned when they dropped the game. The Space Marines, stat-wise, were just the best faction, period. And I still won because I could just keep up more pressure. I'm free of Nioh. I bathed in every hot spring and I got all the Kodama clear. Sorry, you're a bit late for that. Gonna take like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of pause now, and then we go into Nioh 2, because there's enough stuff coming out, like Dawn of War Definitive Edition and such, and, the Battlefield beta. So, as I said, that's probably, next Thursday and Saturday, because, Thursday is when it's first out. Saturday is when it's free for everyone, so if you all want to maybe join up in the squad, we can do it then. But then we will do Nioh 2. But yeah, the thing is that, the whole, system, you had forward bases. Cool. Risk-reward system. And yeah, everyone always had to pull back their units to reinforce, because, they have squads with like 5 models. And the thing in Dawn of War 3 was, you can lose models, but you cannot overproduce models. And you can't reinforce on the fly, as in Dawn of War 1. You had to be near buildings, so you had to place a building at the right point, and reinforce, and then you could actually, have a good push. And yeah, I played orcs so aggressively, I just ran over everyone. Very fun. The thing is just, Annihilation now just makes a few problems with that, because first of all, forward bases become a dumb idea. Here's the thing, and you need to keep it in mind. The best tactic is to have all your buildings in the back where the enemy can reach them very badly. Point 1. It discourages forward bases, aka the most fun aspect of the game. But also, it just legitimized the bad playstyle of all the whiny people.
Also, they introduced turrets again.
And they introduced turrets again, because fuck everyone, I guess. Turrets are bad. Turrets are just not a good idea in RTS games, in my opinion. In most. Again, the only RTS where I would, the thing is, if you're good in Dawn of War, you will not use turrets, period. If you use a turret and you do not do some cheese rush, you're bad. Period. It's just a sign of being bad. In most RTS, you will not build turrets, because it's stupid.
It's really a good move, because it's resources you could put into more units, and especially in Dawn of War, it costs energy, so it delays your attack.
Yeah. A turret just drains too many resources. It's good against, 1 or 2 faction rushes, but if you know the enemy is good, you won't do the rush anyway. But that's it. That's just it. You don't really use turrets. You defend with units. The only game, again, where I think turrets were actually, really well integrated, but also that's the only game where I feel like defense lines were well integrated, is again fucking Supreme Commander. And if you're wondering, okay, Nia, why do you bring up Supreme Commander so much? Because it's the best RTS. I'm not making the rules. Close second, Dawn of War 1 Dark Crusade. I give it that. It's really good. But number one, Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever. That's it. Sorry, that's the best. Why? 4 factions that all play uniquely. Second point, you have the most units. But also there's one hell of a depth. Like, people are like, oh, you just build big armies. Yeah, but you still need to micromanage. Micromanaging can still win you a fucking game. You have to combine, surface, air, and naval units. There's, some factions have hovers units, some factions don't. There's like big T4, endgame siege breakers. There's just so much in terms of economy. Oh yeah, here's the thing. You know what the best part is about it? See, basically every RTS you always want to spend your resources when you can. Supreme Commander is in that regard really good because you build mass, mass extractors, you build resources. Oh yeah, you have like fixed points where you get mass. That is such a great idea. You have to fight over resources. And you build generators, and they all have a continuous production, and you have a continuous drain, because when you build a factory, you don't build just one factory, you build 5. And then you tell them, produce this unit on repeat forever and send it to that point. And because you only have a constant intake and outtake. And wow, you have a game with an economic system. That is actually really cool. And then on top of that, again, the best game mode, because you have something called the ACU. And that is, well, think about it like that. You have a gigantic mech that is your first building unit. So, like, you build with that thing in the beginning. But it's also the strongest unit you have in the beginning. And also, it has upgrades, so it can specialize in specific areas and can become even more strong. So, the thing is, you start building a base, you start pumping out some engineers that can start then, building the base buildings and all that, and then you send your fucking main unit to the front line because they're really good at attacking enemy units, but also because every unit leaves a wreckage behind. You can salvage that wreckage to get more resources, and guess which unit can do that? Right, your ACU. And you're like, and okay. What? And builders, but yeah. And you're like, that's cool. So you basically have like a super building hero in the beginning, yeah. And you know what the clue is? You know what the really great clue is about it? The moment it dies, you lost. Oh yeah. You have one unit that you really want to have in attack, that you really want to use offensively.
Especially early game. Yeah.
Especially early game. But if you lose it, it's over. And then just to make it even funnier in the in multiplayer, they blow up. They are basically nuclear reactors, and they flatten everything in a big radius around them. So in multiplayer, you can actually, when you're like, no, I'm dying here, let's suicide into the enemy ACUs. You might take them with you, or they are so weakened that your team can then attack them easier. Do you see why I say this is the best RTS ever made? And it doesn't have competition, and the only thing it actually needs is a good remake that it finally adds, or maybe it has a remaster that fucking fixes the whole oh yeah, I'm running exclusively on 1 core per CPU. Yeah, it's hard-coded to run on 1 core. That's its big problem. If it didn't have that, best just technically just perfect, but they didn't do that. It's stupid. So how are you doing, Claire? Talked a lot about that now. Ah, yeah. I mean,
in the aftermath of the satellite crash, wives of Havoc soldiers began sending letters to GTI troops. Initial suspicions that this was an attempt by Havoc to undermine GTI were investigated, but a chilling reality emerged. Soldiers from different nations have found themselves in unfamiliar territory, fighting against others from around the world. Each bullet they fired eventually found its way back to them in return. War has ensnared us all in its relentless grip, and no one is immune to its devastating consequences.
I guess. Eh. Leaving the combat area is strictly forbidden. Well, that's news. Didn't thought of that. Announcer woman voice. Yeah. But yeah, if you're all interested in, playing some Battlefield next week on the weekend, I will definitely be there and set something up. And I just plain suck on screen great. But yeah, I'm honestly a bit glad that Nioh is over now. It was a lot. It was like on the count 30 streams of Nioh. 30. It's like a whole month of just playing Nioh. Almost always back to back. It is, I know. I don't even know if I got all of them. Probably similar. Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually looking really forward to the fact that tomorrow is gonna be a bit more of a relaxed game. Since you all said, well, at least one of you said zany adventure game, I'm gonna do that. But I am so looking forward to Monday and Tuesday just being nothing. Just yeah. Like I said, yesterday I think just so much caught up with me, and I'm definitely not fully over that. And that kind of sucks. So, yeah. Yeah, be ready that there's just less streaming over the next week. Come on. I killed one person. Hey, I hope you like that. But yeah, I'm glad I will probably get to Nioh too. And hopefully Star Wars will not be as long and draining. But I guess, the Nioh 2 grind will happen first, and then we can see if Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor are gonna be in a similar ballpark. So yeah, spoiler, we're gonna go after those next, so that's gonna be interesting. And so lots of games releasing now, so yeah. I mean, for one, there is Battlefield happening again, so when that comes out, kind of planning on doing that a bit more. Because, you know, I like playing that series, and I think when one is fresh and people actually like playing it, probably not the worst idea to have a place for that in the week. Ah. God. You know what? The fact alone that I know, hey, I'm not needing to play Nioh now anymore feels to a degree surreal, but also like my whole my brain is just in no more thinking mode. Not helping when you're playing a multiplayer game, but yep, that's currently what's going on. My brain is just like, yeah, no, hey, I don't need to think hard anymore. Please think at least a little bit, brain. Is there any game, you know, you ever grinded really hard when it came out? Yay, free! Also, I need to check when is October. Wait, you know what? Let us just check. When is October 10th this year? So, what day of the week is it? October 10th is a Friday. Oh my god, they're actually going to release a game for everyone without early access on a Friday. Damn. You know what? This might sound stupid. I really want to do a launch day, a launch weekend thing, because you know what? Back in the day when a new multiplayer game came out in the year, it was always like you came, well, okay, coming back from school, also like in the sense that I had to take a 3-hour train ride. But it's like you come down on a Friday, and you get your game, you put it in, you update it, and then it's just like in voice chat with friends, and you just play that weekend. And then sometimes you get the angry I was like, hey, come down, it's it's dinner time, and you're just like, but then you go up again directly to your room because you can play more. And like, you know what? I kind of want to have that feeling again. I feel like this 2000s feeling of, fuck it, we have a game, we're playing it, and here's some pizza, should be there again. I think that's missing. So maybe I'm just gonna do absolutely self-indulgent Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's the whole weekend. Pizza and just playing. Just need to get my girlfriend on board with that, because I don't know what she thinks about that. Hey.
I'm reading. I'm not listening to you on purpose.
That's a problem. But have fun reading. Hope it's gay shit.
Yes.
Good. Oh no, that's a rude tank. But yeah, I'm free. That's gonna be great. Yeah, we have Agonia activity here. She's reading some gay stuff again. You know. Any games coming out this year that everyone else is maybe interested in? Like, I'm kind of out of the loop, but yeah. I mean, we're now catching up on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so that's hopefully gonna be just a nice, relaxing time. Even though it is very funny because the game starts and there's a whole sequence. I'm like, yeah, that's one hell of a graphical, well-made graphical rebuilding of an old scene. It is awkward though. You played a bit when it came out, but dropped off it. I mean, the beginning is like just very linear. I feel like they probably were like, let's get the flashback out of the way first. Have you played that? And I just think like, you know, it's very funny because like we're through that sequence, but also it's like you're like, oh, that's great. You know, it's a really nice recreation of a certain scene, but it's very funny to play it after, you know, I got her to play through all of Crisis Core. Yeah, Agonia has finished Crisis Core. Everything, even the final boss. The secret final boss.
You didn't say that.
What? Minerva.
Yeah, you didn't say it.
You killed Minerva.
I 100%ed the game.
Yeah, you 100%ed Crisis Core. So it was a bit funny. Just being in that sequence, we're like, oh, hi. I have to say though, I still find it one hell of a choice that back when she was young, Tifa was just like, no, I'm just gonna rock a cowgirl outfit. And you're like, okay, Tifa, that's still quite the you know, clothing change to later. To be honest, I think her later design is better, but the hat is still funny. Yeah. Then again, I actually do not know who has actually played the original Final Fantasy VII here. So I will still say, play Final Fantasy VII before remake. Like, I know people say like, oh, I know what the story is. And like, no. This is the same as when you say, oh, you know what the story of something is because of a movie is because you read the Wikipedia article. Playing a game and knowing the story is not the same. But yeah, like I will say, the optimal, I would say the optimal route of playing through the Final Fantasy VII project is Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. Then it is by far not the biggest twist, yeah. It was just the most emotional, impactful scene, I would say. But I would say play Final Fantasy VII first, the PS1 original, or you know, any of the ports. Then I would say you should watch Advent Children, then play Dirge of Cerberus on the PS2. Then you should play Crisis Core. You can actually play the remaster. That's just like the same game, and it's just good. Then you can play 7 Remake. Then you can play the rest of the 7 Remake stuff. Well, yeah, but like I'd always say, just play the original game unspoiled. It's just better.
And the new games aren't really.
As I say, the remakes are sequels. You should play them afterwards.
Yeah.
That's why I said. That is why I said the sequence should be the original game. Watch Advent Children. Play Dirge of Cerberus. Crisis Core. There you can actually play the remake/remaster. Then you can start the remakes. That's the order you should actually tackle Final Fantasy VII in.
Mm.
And now you're like, what the fuck is Dirge of Cerberus? Like, you don't know Dirge of Cerberus? One of the finest games released on the PlayStation 2. It's weirdly plot critical. They are. It's a sequel. There's like, it's not really up to debate.
Oh, we haven't played that much of it yet, but the first remake alone makes it pretty clear that.
Yeah, this is something you should play after playing the original. This is like the whole point of a lot of stuff in the sequel, in the remakes are like, hey, here's stuff you will only really understand if you know the context from the previous games and movies, and yeah, maybe don't do that. Well, I have no idea what is going on. Like, you have no idea how well I am in terms of avoiding spoilers. People,
Allied forces are engaging at objective Bravo 1.
people underestimate that. If I do not want to know what is going on in something, I will not know. Period.
Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming.
Like, you know, when Star Wars The Last Jedi came out, didn't saw the movie for over a year and had no idea what was going on in there. Only later learned that shit like Holo's maneuver was like apparently sending people in a fit of rage, and I was like, oh, okay. Similar with you know, the Force Awakens, where like also I didn't know shit for like a year, and then someone was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm not spoiling you stuff, and then they told me something like I didn't know that, and he was like, but it's on the and then he was like, but that's on the literal cover, you know, on the poster they put out in the movie theater. It's like, that could be the case, but I don't know that, so you just spoiled me something. Fuck you. When The Force Awakens came out, and we didn't see the movie for like at least half a year,
Yeah.
and we knew nothing about it, and then so that one person spoiled us that there was a new Death Star,
I don't
which was
remember.
technically on the posters, in the promotional posters, but like we didn't know that, so that's how much I can avoid spoilers. I do not care.
You just simply don't search for anything related to it.
Yeah. And you're probably like, okay, you can't avoid. Listen, I avoided Infinity War and Endgame for over 2 years. I have an iron mind when it comes to spoilers. Like, but the memes, yeah, you know what? I ignored them. I had no context, and then when it happened, I was like, oh yeah, that was actually very fun. So, it's great. Yeah. Just don't get tempted by spoilers. It's not hard, you just don't want to look at them. Da, 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 da. Ah. Da, 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 da. Well, got all the relevant stuff. I'm basically only waiting for to get the second run of the Arknights event. It's 12 days still. Oh yeah, right. Wait, we can do one thing. They're still getting. Basically, that skin is free. You got like the tickets for free in the game. So let's see if we get her. Well, we got at least the bow. Yeah, we'll totally use that. That looks great. Nice. Just 3 things left. Oh, how useful. 1 and 3, and we're gonna not be lucky, I tell you that. Well, that was it then. Unlucky. Anyway, oh yeah, you know what? Let's get another round in. Here we can get a bit more here, actually. Ooh. It sounds fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably really not that interested in a lot of the spoilers. It's more like, you know, oh yeah, that could be interesting if I just avoid it, so. it's just a plot line of something. Why, like, why would you ruin yourself any revealing moment?
Unmapped mine that if successful,
I mean, if I need to know, I watch it.
war in their favor. Fortunately, our special operations team has already destroyed their transport line into the facility. You are now tasked with finishing the job. Fight your way into the mine and destroy anything that gives power to the Havoc war machine. The well-being of this world depends on you.
Like, I legitimately do not need to know. It's just like,
And the enemy will have
yeah.
no place to hide.
If I was in a horror movie, I'd be in a cosmic horror and I'd be one of the people who goes crazy from looking at something I shouldn't. Yeah, maybe maybe like the one. It's like, yeah, I just need to look at it. Get over here. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I probably, the irony is I would probably also look at it in some form, but just probably be unimpressed. Like, that's the problem, Everyone's like, oh, it's an unimaginable horror. Like, can you describe it? No, it's unimaginable. And then, the moment you see just, there's just a little bit of a description, I'm like, 1,000 mouths and unending tentacles on a bulb with sticky mucus. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm not really that impressed by that. I've seen worse. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I do think if someone says don't do that, I'm like, okay. As long as you have a good reason for that, I just won't do it. I think that's probably the big difference for me. Like, I do need a good reason. If someone tells me, and with spoilers, it's just like, hey, if I spoil myself, I will not have as much of a fun experience watching media for the first time.
You can only get that once.
Yeah. So you don't watch it. You just wait until you watch it. You don't spoil yourself. It's pretty easy. Similarly, if someone tells me you look at it, you will lose your mind. Well, then I will not look at it. Period. Ironically, we have actually a thing that just happened in that regard, and still need to think about a way to deal with that. Actually, our stove. One of our stove plates just decided to have a problem, as in if I turn it on in any shape or form, it will just destroy our electric grid. just, I don't know why. I don't know what happened there. It's just, that's just a thing now. I will not turn it on. Yeah, I don't even know how that happened. I don't even know who to talk about that. So, yeah. Maybe we need a new stove, but still have 3 other plates, so it's workable. The stove is safe. Like, no worry. This isn't like it's just an electric one, and again, as long as I don't turn on the one knob, no problem. That's it. I probably should have some electrician look at it at some point. But then I feel like the answer will always be like, yeah, you have to get a new one. It's like, oh wait, that's gonna be fun because that means we need to pay for a new kitchen aisle, basically. Or well, you know, a new stove and such. Which is like, you know, not the worst, but then also I need to one thing I kinda hate is because if we do that, I would definitely say we should get induction because induction is hands down the best way to cook. Everything else is just, well, like, everything other people claim is just bullshit. Like, gas isn't better. Sorry. You just need to cook slightly different, but basic electrical coils are better than gas. Gas is just such a bad way of cooking food. Here's the thing. But consider the fact that this is only with specially made ones that are, you know, not even typical stoves anymore.
Yeah.
But also induction also works with that. Oh, you don't get a wok? Hey, you can take a torch to it. Who cares? Sorry. Induction is the best. The problem is just that I need to find some way to keep using all my stainless steel pots and pans that I got from my grandma because they're great. I want to keep using them. But yeah. By the way, if you ever think about, what should I get for pots and pans and new stuff, you get stainless steel. I'm not kidding. I know people are like, oh, but cast iron. Cast iron is fine. Stainless steel is better. It just is. Oh, but you know, when you're like, oh, but you know, anti Teflon pots. It's like, yeah, Teflon is good. You shouldn't use it for most. Period. Use big stainless more like. Cast iron is technically also steel, but it's just like, here's the thing. Stainless steel pans are just better. Period. Because first of all, like this isn't even about food safety. This is just about longevity and quality. Like, cast iron pans are good. Do not get me wrong. They're not as good as stainless steel. Because, for example, cast iron, there's the whole thing of, oh, you need to build up a seasoning. You can also build that up in stainless steel, but you don't even need as much, and they're not sticking as much. Also, heat retainment and heat transfer is better in stainless steel. Yeah, and that's the thing with non-stick. Non-stick is good for a few things. I get that, you know, like you can basically make you can make eggs in stainless steel. Everyone is just too afraid to actually crank up the heat and, you know, use the heat how it's supposed to be used. But otherwise, no. You always need to use high heat in pans and also to a degree in pots. Also, stainless steel, you can actually use citrusy / sour ingredients because stainless cast iron, not good, destroys the seasoning and all that. Tomato sauce in stainless steel just shrugs it off because it's stainless steel. As said before, a good stainless steel pan has incredible heat retention, so you can like, when it's heated up, especially on like electric and so, really even cooking. Period. Even on the borders, a good steel pan is gonna have even heat. But yeah, you need high heat and oil. Like, look for the Leidenfrost effect, then oil in, and then, you can fry in there perfectly. It's just... I fried multiple times in it, and it always came out perfectly. Like I'm using stainless steel, and I can get you juicy chicken breast. Juicy, fried chicken breast. I know a lot of people don't get that, but you know what gets it? Good stainless steel pans. And you can clean them pretty well, so that's that. Yeah, non-stick is just like, they're technically like cheap stainless steel pans, but then also they just fall apart. Because the problem is like the coating they have that is necessary for them to be non-stick just scrapes off with time. Stainless steel, you can just go ham. Like, oh, you want to fry a good burger? Stainless steel. I mean, you can't really do it on, open fire, I would say, but even then you could technically do it, so who cares? Stainless steel. But yeah, other thing is just like, yeah, don't use gas. Gas is... What? Okay, a Le Creuset should not... Okay, that's not even non-stick. That's, how's it called? I don't know how emaille is called in English, but like, that should not be the case. Holy shit. Because, okay, if it's a non-stick one... okay, yeah, then it's yeah, non-stick, no, but like the typical coated ones, classic ones. I have two pots from Zwilling, and they are good. Like, if you want to make a good stew and all that, I whip them out, and it's like... Okay, here's the thing. The only thing better than stainless steel is enamel. Just period. If you have a good enamel pan, with a right rim, use it. It's good.
Pan? What the fuck?
Emaille.
Emaille.
Yeah, it's called enamel in English. There's a pot and lizard frame. Okay, that's an interesting thing. But yeah, I can only recommend, like, if you have electric heating and some induction stuff, get stainless steel. You're gonna be surprised how good it actually works. Yep, then it's perfect. As I said, people always say like, induction is the best, but like electric is really good. Because like, the thing that people always forget is, by the way, you need to keep in mind, the whole "you cook better with gas" is quite literally a propaganda campaign from the gas industry. There is, the moment you actually put it to the test, gas is not in any shape or form better than electric or induction or, yeah. Because the thing about you know what? It's good. It's good. All electric homes are completely fine. Because the thing about a gas stove is, well, it leaks heat. That's the thing. The one reason why, in basically a professional setting, they keep using yeah. You could do that, but even then, it's again, you can just get an induction one, and who cares? Just like if you need a portable stovetop, go to IKEA, buy an induction one. And yeah, because the thing with gas is, the moment you put on a gas stove, gas is not one-to-one transferring into. It's not one-to-one transferring it onto the pot. It's actually going up the sides. Like, yes, again, if you have a wok, that might be useful, but even then, keep in mind that, like the real wok stoves, the gas burners there are a lot of them, and they're in a ring shape, and they're also put, beneath something so they can maximize heat production. Regular gas stoves just waste energy, aside from burning fuels. But you're like, oh, but my pot doesn't. Your pot doesn't get that much faster hot. The thing is just the curve is different. Like yes, like an electric stove actually gets a pot faster hot than a gas one if you put them on full power first, which you usually will do with a pan. Anyway, so why would you waste that? No, not really. Like again, we have now induction wok stoves, so it's not really a case where you need it. It's just the one part where you can really use, again, the thing is, as I said, Claire, wok stoves, woks, use it more, but a good wok stove is also like a special purpose built monster that still traps the heat. Everything else is just like, no. But like, yeah, if you look at how's it called? If you then look at electricity, like a standard electric coil plate, is that you, the standard electrical coil plate. If you put a pan on there and you like actually put it on like full power, the pan gets hot in an equal time as the gas stove, because the gas stove leaks heat. Period. It just does that. The electrical one doesn't. Now, yes, the electrical one in the beginning has a flatter curve of getting warm, but then evens out in the end, because at the very end, electric stoves produce energy, heat energy, much more efficient and transfer them much better. And if you pair that with again something like a stainless steel pan with a good thick bottom that can also keep that heat energy inside, well, now you're actually cooking, literally. Similarly, it's just all adapting to that, But yeah, gas is just it's just a scam. Because the thing is, if you want to have a gas oven, keep in mind, gas kitchens do not make money. Anyone, they're just bad. But if you want a gas kitchen, you will generally have in your home a lot of other stuff that will be heated with gas. Like for example, I don't know, your heating and such. And if you get that into homes, if you just get some idiot to have a gas, gas connection, well, then you can sell them gas for the stuff that actually makes you money as a gas company. So yeah, gas is just a fucking scam. At this point, it's just a scam. Because electricity is so much better, they had to make a fucking campaign on one thing that was socially acceptable to think about. Because, like, you know, again, if you'd say, oh, no, your home works better, you know, your heating works better with gas, a lot of people would be like, does it do? But saying cooking is generally better with gas, well, you know, not now. I mean, they are not allowed to do that anymore, but, you know, that's the thing with, that's the thing with companies. They start something and make kind of bogus claims to sell you something that is usually just a scam. And then when, you know, they get lawsuits on, you know, consumer protection, especially in the EU, clamps down on them, they're just pivoting. Like, for example, there's a great irony that in the EU, and I think in most European countries, you are not allowed to advertise anymore that cooking with gas is better. So then they obviously just paid influencers in America because people were watching food content on YouTube. Which was also just kind of scummy, so... I mean... Like it's just a thing I will say, you know, if there is a general you know, if a product has some parts, you know, especially in terms of advertising, banned in the EU, then you can be 100% sure it's just a fucking scam. Period. And no amount of you know, anecdotal evidence will change that. Like, for example, the whole, you know, remember Actimel? You know how big of a scam that thing is? Like, and I mean, it's a quite literal scam. Because everyone claiming there are some benefits to it, no. Every single piece of, you know, all the studies that might show it are fucking rigged. And, but you know, they're technically valid, so that counts. But even then, keep in mind, you know what, stuff like Actimel, Yakult, etc. You know what they're all advertising themselves with? What you think? They're like, you're like, oh, but they have like all those cultures that are good for your body and immune system. Here's a fun fact: they are not allowed to say that in the European Union because it's fake. Yeah. Because turns out the thing they put on the bottle, that lactobacillus, yeah, basically lactobacillus, you know, the thing that people that you know, you think it is because that's what they claimed first when it came out, that is the healthy part, is not healthy. You know, it's not, you know, it's not healthier than any regular yogurt. Because it's fucking yogurt. Any claim that it actually helps your immune system is debunked. It's just good for your gut, and then again, not in any way more than a normal yogurt. Yeah, and you know why that is the case, Claire? You know why that is the case? Because one small bottle of Yakult or Actimel has the same amount of sugar than a 0.5 liter bottle of cola. Actually, it has more.
At least here.
In general in Europe, yeah. So, yeah, damn. It's just a yogurt drink with sugar. That's how they do it. And you know what the funniest bit about that is? like first of all, again, if you want to have any of that benefits, just eat a yogurt. Any kind of yogurt. Any kind of regular yogurt has the same benefits, actually more, because you can eat more of the thing. Because you know what all those Yakult and stuff is? So let me tell you how Yakult and Actimel and all that same thing is made. You take 1 liter of yogurt. You mix it with 2 liters of water. You put in sugar, a bit of, vanilla flavoring or strawberry flavoring, or whatever you want. And then you put in apple, I think, creatine. Like, it's just a binder. So that it doesn't feel, that it doesn't have the mouthfeel of watered yogurt. That you don't realize, wait, this is just fucking ayran.
Just worse.
Just worse. Ayran with a fucking amount of sugar. Yeah, actually it does taste of vanilla, yeah. It's just the cheapest shit. And then, here's the thing. And then you pour in a little bit extra of, bacterial culture, and then you sell it as a probiotic yogurt drink. In Yakult's case, for €8 per liter. I repeat, you take 1 liter of yogurt, you dilute it with 2 liters of water, add a few really cheap things so it doesn't taste that much as well and has, a bit of a thicker mouthfeel. €8 per liter. Do you see why this is a fucking scam? When you could just eat a yogurt. Because here's the thing, yogurts are good for you. All of those yogurt drinks, they're just a scam. They're just a literal fucking scam. If you want it, eat a yogurt. And fun fact, if you're now looking into the advertisement space, you're like, but wait, Danone and Co. are still advertising that this is good for the immune system. Well, here's the thing. So here's the thing. Basically, the European customer rights center, they basically were like, okay, the European Union told them, hey, you cannot advertise anymore with things that are not true. That sounds great, right? Like, all those companies now actually have to sit down and say, like, they can't tell anymore, this is good for immune system, because that's literally disallowed them. They cannot claim anymore that the lactobacillus something is good for your immune system. That's literally. And yet they still claim that it's good for immune system. How do they do that? How do they legally get around it? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. So you know how vitamin C and D is dirt cheap shit? Yeah, if you put a little bit of vitamin C and D into, they just added a little bit of vitamin C and D after that lawsuit into the drink, to then claim it's still to keep their tagline, but they just changed what is responsible. In the fine print. They're not saying, the yogurt cultures are doing it, but they're not allowed to do that, so they don't do it. They're just saying it's good for immune system, asterisk, actually it's the few things we added afterwards to avoid legal liability. Fuck you all. Anyway, just don't buy Yakult and shit, it's just scam. And also, they sell you that in all those small little packs because You know, that looks like a medicine bottle. That has to be healthy. It's not, but you know, it has to be. I mean, also just let's ignore that it generates so much waste. Like holy shit. Anyway, have a small insight into how companies rip you off. Hope you like that. And then people are like, oh hey, why do you like living in the EU? I don't know, we have consumer protection laws. It's kind of neat to have them. That's what I will say, you know. Seriously, if there's anything where you're like, huh, is this good or bad? Just look up, is it banned in the EU? And if the answer is yes, maybe don't. Hey, anything else you all want to maybe learn or be educated about? I know a lot of topics that I could still yap about for the... Oh! I misread the minute part as 30, but it's already 23:50. Yeah, that is understandable. Like I won't say that ours is perfect, but I would say you probably have more breakouts in the well-meant regard than, you know, actually in the this is just borderline corrupt bullshit. Yeah, and meanwhile, yeah, like I think a lot of people are probably underestimating how different the media landscape is. Oh yeah, you have internet censorship now. That's true. I do think a lot of people are probably very much unaware how different the media landscape is actually in Central Europe. Like, you know, and I'm not gonna say this is everywhere. It's, you know, it's perfect, but like the thing is, I would say overall, you know, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, etc. There's enough, you know, in terms of, you know, also publicly supported media, that it's just a much healthier system than most regions. Like, so many countries just have basically only have private media, and that is just not good. Like, I don't know how to say it in any other way.
I need to be more careful.
But yeah. Kind of playing with the crap gun now, if you know that. Because that's an M14, and M14s are just like... oh, those were crap as guns. It's so fun I have them in the game. I do like when games are just like, hey, here's a gun that is old and kind of shit, and you can just, you know, make it marginally better, I would say. Oh, hi, bot. Honestly, not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of looking forward to the release of Battlefield this year, because like I've been trying to learn Godot in a long time, and like the fact that they are just like, no, you can just build shit with the Godot engine now, is gonna be kind of a good thing to me, because like now I can say, hey, I'm gonna have like I'm gonna set myself a project. For example, I want to code a new mode in the game. Meaning, I have to learn that. But the thing is, since this is, you know, I can probably just ask, you know, it's an open source engine, I can actually learn that code right there while having a clear goal in mind, and probably also a bit better motivation overall. And it's gonna be fun. And you know what the best part is? Argonia can actually help me, because it's just the Godot engine. And also fun fact, I actually have already an idea what I want to do. A few things, like, you know, one hand, you know, using the editor, that's good. That's one thing.
All units, defend the key objective. Taken full control of objective Bravo 1. Bravo 2.
Hey, back. Hey, back, I'm Nioh. How are you doing? Yeah, bye, bot. Yeah, I don't think, any, country is perfect in terms of media, but, like, again, there's enough public media stuff that you can still get most information's in a pretty well manner here. So, like, yeah, like, it's not unique bad, I would say. Like, I think a lot of people just don't know how bad their own are. I think that there's also the thing of okay, here's the thing. I do say the UK was alright, but yeah, you just have it has deteriorated so much overall. Like the transfer machine, that's one thing. Like I think the bad part of why it's probably so visible for you is the fact that the BBC is now in on it. That's the big one, Like the BBC should be your counterweight, but dismantled. Like that's how you can say it. Yeah. And meanwhile, here we have like a lot of regional stuff. We have the big main ones who are like pretty different, which is just wild. I don't like. I can tell you if let's say the counterpart to the BBC in Germany would be the ARD. If the ARD or NDR would buckle to one children's book author, they would be ripped to shreds by the ZDF. Period. They would just not. They would just not be alive. But I think that is probably one of the reasons why I think the system in Germany works a bit better, because aside from the fact that we have a lot of local stuff that make up the major ones, there's also just the thing of that our two major TV stations with their own programs and sub parts are not only basically different companies, they are like geographically different. So for example, the NDR is like, and ARD is like up here, I think in Hamburg even. Yeah, it's in North Germany, But otherwise, the ZDF is in Mainz, so very South German. And they're just different. Like, the ARD is like not that bad, I would say, but a bit more conservative, I would say. A bit more dry and conservative in what they do. The ZDF is just unhinged. They just become more leftist over the last years. Like, there's a thing where I feel like, if international, if international gaming magazines want to have any shot at it being good again in the near future, the big ones from the industry, like Jason Schreier, etc., should get their fucking asses together, go to the ZDF and be like, hey, do you want to branch out in international media? Because that might be the only shot they have. And I mean that. Because you're gonna be probably shocked by what kind of stuff they already covered legally, so I don't think it's directly bad. I do think it would be good to branch out more, because private American media cannot save media. It's only there to control, and we probably would need to get more people onto the public media train, you know, from the USA also. If we want to have anything fixed.
All units, defend the key objective.
But yeah.
Stand your ground. Defend at all costs.
Anything else? Any other topic? Because I think this one is slowly over.
This is our last defense. We must hold it.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, tomorrow adventure game, a zany one,
Defend
classic.
at all costs. Allied forces are attacking us. Charlie 1. Send reinforcements to the objective.
You know what? I know it, but I'm gonna make it a bit of a surprise. So you can have, you know, tomorrow you can tune in and be like, oh, that's interesting. I just want to do a little bit of surprise stuff, you know? So sorry if I just took down the enthusiasm of it, but like I do want to make it a bit of a surprise again. You know what? I actually I do feel again though that it is getting late.
You have a sense of time.
What?
You have a sense of time.
I have a sense of time, yeah. I just kind of fucked up because like I actually checked the the time before the last round and I misread it. So that wasn't. You feel I do feel I what do you want to say with that, Claire? I feel tired. I do feel tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sleep well.
Yeah, I didn't sleep well today. I just had a very shitty day actually.
Right, yeah.
It was a very shitty night. Yeah. Didn't improve much during the day, so I could hear a girl in the background. Oh no! She was not telling me to tune out. That's actually genuinely on me this time. Yeah. That is not going that much overboard, but yeah. Gonna have more shooty bang bang next week. So that's gonna be interesting.
Secure our last sector, whatever it takes. The situation is critical. Stand your ground, defend at all costs. Strategic beacon deployed. Allied forces are taking objective Charlie 1. Reinforce fire support. The situation is critical. Stand your ground, defend at all costs.
Yeah, also running out of topics, which kind of sucks. There we go.
The enemy's forces are dwindling. Hold the line.
Strategic beacon ready to deploy.
Secure our last sector, whatever it takes.
Oh yeah, actually, do you want to hear something still funny about the whole Yakult/Actimel thing? Because even now, there's the legal department is like, by the way, every product is totally legit when the legal department goes after critics all the time. So an interesting thing is that they're now claiming, well, there are 30 different studies, double-blinded with different universities that prove that Actimel, at least Danone does that, is working. So did you know that Danone has like 30 different laboratories around the globe, working on new products and stuff, and I don't know, making independent studies on the side. Yeah, all those three are from themselves. Fun fact. So, okay, someone actually handed handed the whole document out to. They did their own studies. Or well, more like they helped universities do studies for them. So their name isn't on it, but kind of clever. Oh yeah, that's not great, but it's even funnier. So there are 30 of them, and you need to keep in mind. So okay, so interestingly, recently a few German YouTubers actually just went and just asked the company, like, hey, can we just see that? And you know what happened? They handed them out. So the interesting thing is that, yes, those are, by all technical means, legitimate studies. So the moment I say by all technical means legitimate studies, you will probably already be like, okay, what kind of bullshit happened there? Well, clench your buttholes, it's gonna get really funny. So, think about it like that. So you make a study, and you make it double blindfold. But the setup of the study is inherently just stuff like, okay, so for example, what do you compare Actimel to? Well, here's the thing. Imagine you're just doing it like that. So one test group, drinks Actimel, and the other one drinks milk. So the fermented product is gonna have some health benefits because every fermented product has health benefits. Or they're comparing it to water or orange juice. Or just a lot of studies against nothing. So they legitimately had one group eat no fermented foods at all for the test period, and the other one got to drink Actimel. And then like, oh look, their gut problems are better now. It also was done on comatose cancer patients in Indian slums, in Indian children's hospitals, like everyone who couldn't say no on 3. So, oh wow, that's, oh boy. And you're like, okay, that's interesting, but also, then on some studies, it's like, one side drinks, is not allowed to intake any fermented thing at all, so there's no counter comparison, and the other one drinks 500 milliliters of Actimel per day. So not even a small bottle like they're selling you. No. They get to chuck that thing half a liter per day. Just like, okay. Yes, Claire. They compared it to non-fermented things, or in most cases, nothing. Yes, and the proband's chucked a whole bottle of Yakult every day, a whole Coke bottle of Yakult every day, and then they were like, look, we have health benefits. They don't tell you that because then you would definitely say, wait a second, that is fucking fishy. What is going on here? Think of the sugar in that, considering a small bottle has more sugar than a full Coke bottle. That's a lot of yogurt and a lot of sugar. But yeah. But even then, what the irony is? It's not even a lot of yogurt, because keep in mind, 2-to-1 water thinned out. Anyway, so, but you know what the absolute banger is under those 30 studies? So they actually had 7 studies where they did compare it. I think my entire caloric budget in half liter of Yakult for the health benefits. Yeah, but again, they had 7 studies, but they actually compared Actimel against, and by the way, Actimel and Yakult, there is no difference. They're the same, quite literally. Yakult just oversells it because, I guess they got out of the spotlight, and it's from Japan, and Japan has to be good. Let's just ignore that Japan is full of scams. Like, they're selling energy drinks in bottles that look like medicine just to pretend they have a health benefit. Yes, because it has more sugar. But yeah. 7 studies actually compared Actimel against yogurt. So it turned out Actimel has health benefits because it's still a lacto-fermented drink. But in all the 7 studies, the difference to yogurt was non-existent. I want to repeat that. Danone, like the companies themselves, did comparison studies to yogurt, and they didn't see any health benefits over the average amount of eating a normal yogurt per day. 7 times. I mean, it's a diluted small yogurt in a bottle with more sugar, so... Like, it's so fucking funny. The irony is, because you have such a high sugar intake, it's actually worse for you than just eating a yogurt. Like, there's a reason they got, like, anti-consumer prices in Europe. But yeah, welcome. That's what they did. Sounds fun, right? Very... What an upstanding company. Totally not doing shady shit here. No. Absolutely not. But yeah, just to get that part still out of the way. Yeah, cool. You get health benefits if you have a study that is double-blinded and the one side eats no fermented products at all and the other one chugs 500 milliliters of Yakult every day. That's definitely one hell of a legit study, I will say. Anyway, I hope you all had some fun. And yeah, don't fall for industry bullshit. Like, there's so many scams out there, and like, it's just like, you know, there are some things where I can say, you know, you generally could have some benefit. Like, for example, if you actually drink sugar-free Coca-Cola, if you want to drink a sugar-free Coca-Cola, that's actually not so bad. Like, I'm serious. Like, if you want to drink a sugar-free one, you actually save so many calories with no downside. And
Unless you need sugar.
Unless you need sugar, yes, then you should just... but even then, but then the cola is actually pretty solid. And like... it's always so funny to me because, like, you know, people are like, oh, you know, there's so much sugar in cola, and like, cola is not even the sweetest thing on the market. Or if you're looking at Nutella, and the people are like, oh, look how much sugar is in Nutella. Yes, but are you eating a whole glass of Nutella every day? I know some on here that are listening to me would love to eat a whole glass of Nutella with a spoon in it for one day, but I can guarantee you wouldn't want to do it for a whole week. Do you want to make a bet? I go buy a standard glass of...
when I was younger.
You ate a whole glass, but once, not a whole week. Did you eat a glass over a whole week? Or did you eat a glass every day for a week?
Over. That's why I was so thin and had my blood things all over.
Yeah, your blood stats were just fucked. And you were so proud of that one stat that was through the roof. It wasn't healthy.
Was 4 times the normal. That's an accomplishment, right?
What?
That's an accomplishment,
I
right?
still say you should not be proud of that, considering you had, you were malnutritioned in basically every single relevant part, but except that one that was 4 times what you should have. You shouldn't be proud of that. Nothing of that made sense. You're so lucky I fucking fixed your diet. Honestly. Oh. Since so many drinks include sugar-free now. Yeah. I And then they use sweetener, which is usually even cheaper than sugar, which is interesting. But like, yeah. That's like, by the way, that's actually that's another bullshit the industry does, because like, we could actually force companies like Coca-Cola to make all their drinks sugar-free in Europe, and it wouldn't change a thing. Except their profit margin. See, the thing is, why do you think sugar-free variants of cola exist? The answer is actually pretty simple. Because people like you and me will only will probably only drink those. The only cola I will drink with sugar is Fritz Cola, and even then I'm thinking like maybe we should try starting drinking the sugar-free version.
It helps with my circulatory problems.
Actually, for Gonya, it's probably not the worst to have that once per week. But still, we could say that every soft drink should be sugar-free. Which would actually save the industry a lot of money, because you need to keep in mind the amount of sweeteners, modern sweeteners, who are actually really fucking safe. And in some cases even healthy. Yeah, no, it's weird, but some of them even have some weirdly enough, have some health benefits. Shocking. They're cheaper. And yet, for some time, they tried to sell sugar-free at a higher price. Had nothing to do with availability, no. The thing is, sugar is a drug, as in it's addictive. If you eat sugar, yeah. In the UK, it's cheaper thanks to the sugar tax. Oh, interesting. The sugar tax should probably be a thing everywhere. Let's just be real here. Here's the thing. Overall, sugar isn't like the worst. Like having a bit of sugar in the home for like some baking, some cooking, that's fine if you do this in small portions. But yeah, sugar is addictive. And that's the thing. They want to have the sugar-free variants out because A, there are some people, like probably you and me, who will only drink sugar-free, and that's fine. That's just healthier, period. It, like, I cannot tell you, the best part about sugar-free stuff is that if you drink a sugar-free Coca-Cola, that actually, hey, they say don't put cocaine in there anymore. Fair point. On the other hand, I think the sugar was always the worst part. But the thing is that, you know, a sugar-free cola actually can help you with cravings. Really well, actually. A sweetened drink is better than a sweet drink. But yeah, they don't do it because, again, a large portion of the population wants the sugar one because it is an addiction and they don't know it. You can't train it off, you can just stop. But again, to a degree, you probably need an iron will to just do that. And considering how well I am at avoiding spoilers, I am probably way better set up to of just stopping with shit like sugar than like I just, you know, the thing is, the moment I learned, hey, sugar-free stuff, way less calories, you don't get fat from them. They're actually really good at, you know, if you want to have something that makes you, that gets you awake, that gives you some form of energy kick and stuff, and you get some cravings down. Sugar-free cola is actually really good.
With the new
Stevia, you mean?
with this new substitute stuff, yeah.
There's more than stevia, but even
I
then,
don't
yeah.
mean stevia, I just mean general new stuff.
The general new stuff,
Because
yeah.
the old stuff wasn't good.
The old stuff wasn't good, but they don't use that anymore, so
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. And I just stopped, and it actually is better. You know, when I drink cola, I would say. Like, right now, the only bottle of cola I drink per week is Fritz. And everything else, like, I have a pack of sugar in the kitchen, because sometimes a sauce needs a sprinkle of sugar. And, by the way, this isn't something where I would say, where people are like, oh, you shouldn't add sugar. Shh. Like, here's the thing. Caramelizing onions, honey, or like generally getting sweetness in a dish is usually getting sugars in something. And if your base wasn't enough, you can just add a sprinkle of sugar, because trust me, it's on a chemical level, it's the same as the stuff that's already in your sauce. There's no harm in adding a little bit of... By the way, don't put a teaspoon of it in it. Less. That's usually enough. Also, if you're making a sauce, start with the spices, then add the salt. If you spice your sauce before you salt it, you need less salt. Simply because your brain will recognize it as saltier than it actually is. So that's how you can actually reduce salt in your dish.
It's weird, when we had people come over years ago, lots of them thought like there was lots of salt in your dishes.
I'm not putting a lot of salt in my dishes.
Yeah, we calculated you would need to have eaten a whole pot alone to have your daily intake of salt covered. And for some reason...
Yeah. Also use MSG. Like, okay, by the way, I'm not kidding. If you spice first and put in some MSG, you do need less salt, because MSG is a salt. The flavor enhancing abilities of salt and MSG are the same. The thing is just MSG is much, much more potent, while not having the same downsides as natrium chloride, so like sodium chloride, so like salt. Monosodium glutamate, you can use a little less. It's way, way healthier for your body, and it helps you save salt, because we actually should tune down on natrium. So, health tips. Hey, now we're going overtime, but health tips are important. And yeah, if you want to sear something in a pan, get your pan hot. I know enough people who are like, everything sticks to my pan. Pan on the stove, get it ripping hot, check for Leidenfrost effect. Oil, not a pit. Oil. You put some oil in there, coat the bottom. Then you put your chicken breast or your steak, whatever you want, on there. You press it a little bit, and then you let it fry. Let a crust form. Then you flip it. The moment it loosens itself from the bottom of the pan. You do not fry with water. You should never fry with water. Period. Water is for boiling. Like, okay, you can make it so that you can actually put, for example, pork or bacon in water, and then boil the water away, because that renders the fat out, and then the bacon actually fries in its own fat. Time intensive, extravagant, actually pretty tasty. But no, if you want to, use a high smoke point oil. And if you want to have actual flavor, use butter. I don't know how they call it in your country, but when they say ghee in Germany, it's Butterschmalz, it's or clarified butter. It's the same. It's the same. Ghee is just how's it called? Yeah, but you don't need a lot. That's okay, Claire. I'm letting you in on a trick, okay? You take a pan, okay? You put standard sunflower or rapeseed oil in there. There you go. Then you put a little bit of butter in there. Now your oil tastes like butter. Use clarified butter though, but like... How the fuck is your butter so expensive? What is going on in Britain? Butter is pretty cheap here. And like clarified butter also, like... But yeah, if you want to have good, if you want to have good taste, use butter. It isn't coming from me. This is also coming from Marco Pierre White. But like, yeah, you use some butter. But again, put a bit of butter in your frying oil. It tastes like butter. Whoops! You just saved butter. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't use, by the way, margarine and so for cooking. That's actually not good. You don't want to heat that one up. Butter, you can actually, but don't use margarine for frying and stuff. Bad idea. So yeah, kitchen. You know what? I should probably do a cooking stream at some point in my life. Oh yeah, just before I get it, before I forget it. If you want to have like actually juicy chicken breast or juicy meat, here's the thing. First of all, you make them thin, not too thin, but thin. Smack them a bit, but you want to have a certain thinness, especially with chicken breast. Then you put them in the fridge. You put salt and pepper on it, both sides, in the fridge for at least 2 hours. What it does is, the salt does osmosis. It pulls water out of the meat, dissolves, and then it it just brines the meat, which also will retain moisture. And then again, high heat, just trust the process, and then it's done. Right, we could do something like that. The next weeks or so. I mean, I get you, but like the thing is, at least in Germany, you will not get. Actually, not only that. The thing is, chicken thigh meat, like brown meat, is you can overcook it. You can't overcook it as much. And that's why it retains more juice and also fat, and that's why it tastes better. But like, chicken breast you can also use that. But hey, it's not like we actually had delicious chickens once, but then the industry literally bred them out because no, actually that happened. Like before that, most in Europe actually ate ducks because ducks and duck eggs were the most farmed and harvested ones, which are actually good, and we should go back to that because here's the thing. Ducks are actually really good at eating snails from stuff like lettuce, so they're actually great pesticides that also lay eggs. So yeah.
Eat them.
What?
And you can eat them.
And at the end of the day, they can eat. When they're too old, you will eat them. That's just how you do it. This is how a farm works. That's just maximum. That's just maximum efficiency. Sorry.
And if you don't eat them, you give them to the pigs or something else that will eat them.
If something dies, it should be eaten. Yeah, or used to fertilize something.
Yeah.
Something eats it. That's the circle of life. But yeah, ducks, really good. Again, they lay eggs, and you can use the duck eggs. Also, again, duck breast actually tastes super tasty, like just saying. Anyway, the thing is, chickens. We had a lot of variety of chickens in Europe, and they all tasted great. They had like really strong flavors. So then America was like, oh, can we make a chicken breed that lays a lot of eggs, has a lot of breast meat, and that's that. So they paired two chicken breeds, and those became the dominant chicken breed worldwide because they grow fast, have a lot of meat on their breast, and lay a lot of eggs. They didn't breed for taste. That's it. And when everyone was like, holy shit, fast growing meat, they took it because like the thing is, post-war Europe had to feed itself and people wanted meat, and so like there was a whole thing in the like, fun fact, in the GDR there was a whole thing going about them building up chicken farms because they needed eggs and they needed meat. And this is why they mass-produced chickens and had to export them, because they just had so many chickens. And then they made chicken restaurants, and where they sold the Goldbräuler, which is why in West Germany everyone says Brathühnchen, and in East Germany they say Broiler. That's legitimately reason. And I know that because Agonia's parents are from East Germany, and her dad says Broiler. Meanwhile, my parents say Brathähnchen. It's just how it is.
Broiler.
Yes, I know, you have broilers. Why does you get more eggs? But this does get you more eggs. That's hey Claire, I know that they wash the chicken. You should not wash your meat. Ever.
Depends.
No. Here's the thing. Every single meat out of the that you get from the supermarket or from the butcher, as long as there isn't actual dirt on it, do not wash it. Because first of all, you do not wash off salmonella. If you brine it, that kills bacteria because you brine shit. Worse, it splashes. All the germs splash. You don't reduce them, you don't wash them off, you don't make the meat safer. You just splash the germs around. And you're like, but what should I do with the meat? Put it on, pat it dry in the hot frying pan. You know what kills salmonella? Heat. So heat up that fucking oil. Ah, well. Hey, some more stuff about East Germany. Could definitely do like a whole stream where I can debunk shit about East Germany, I would say. I kind of hate how in a lot of leftist circles nowadays there's still so much bullshit flying around about East Germany, and they're like, oh, it wasn't as bad as people think. It was a fucking dictatorship, you dickweed. Like, come on. It's documented. You just ignore everything. Which salmonella penetrates chicken meat, so it has to be cooked through anyway. None. Hey, that's the reason why in the USA they actually wash eggs, but this just destroys the patina around the egg, and there are no salmonella on the egg anymore. Now they have to actually be they have to transport in plastic boxes, constantly refrigerated, else they spoil really, really fast. Meanwhile in Europe, who cares? Put them in a paper cardboard box. You don't need to refrigerate them that fast. They stay good for weeks, and we have the better production method of chicken eggs. Also, no one gets salmonella from that because seriously. But but what if I want to eat a raw egg or put a raw egg onto my rice like the Japanese people do? First of all, in Japan, from what I know, they also don't wash the eggs. Second of all, you can just shortly dip it in boiling water. The salmonella will be gone. You can wash your egg. Because the thing is, even then, raw egg is safe. No, yeah, I know. You're like, there's still, by the way, no, Claire. Actually not. This is what people say, but the reality is it's not the case. Japan, from what I know, has the same production method as Europe. Yep. And do you know why? You know it's not a problem? Because salmonella is on the eggshell. Yeah, more cooking. Again, if you just have like a, if you heat water in your water cooker, put it in like a bowl, and just dip your egg quickly in it, kills the salmonella. You can do it at home. And even then, in Japan, most of the eggs when they're in the restaurant, they get cleaned a little bit and then put out. Because the thing is, the moment you clean it, the salmonellas are gone. And people don't, and the salmonella are on the eggshell. They do not get in the egg. As long as the patina is there, they don't get in the egg. The inside is sealed. If you're and by the way, chicken are generally, by the way, vaccinated, so they're vaccinated, so all the bad stuff isn't in the egg anyway, because health regulations. That's a big thing, even here. Like they're actually vaccinated against that. Again, Japan does the same, and here it's just like European egg, perfectly safe. You just need to maybe sterilize it yourself a bit or wash it a bit off, and then when you crack it and you just crack it like no egg will touch the shell, it's safe. And when you're like, oh, but I fucking did it a bunch of times. And even then, you put the egg on hot rice. You put it on hot rice and mix it. Like, here's the thing. You can drink a raw egg.
You're a bit overtime, huh?
Oh yeah, sorry. I just have cooking facts right now. I have to bust some cooking myths here. Again, you can just drink an egg, but then the safety would be across the board the same. Meanwhile, if you put your raw egg on hot rice or hot noodles or anything hot and mix it in, guess what happens? Any germs that might be there will be gone because hot things kill germs. So, yeah. Don't forget, the salmonella are on the egg, not in the egg. At least they shouldn't be in the egg. I'm just saying that. Yeah. We will stop here though. Went way over time with cooking facts. Tomorrow, mystery adventure game. And if you want to have more cooking facts or GDR facts or whatever, just bring it up tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thanks for staying with me for 30 streams of Nioh. I am done, and I will take my break now. I see you for Nioh. Nioh 2 will be in like 2 to 3 weeks. You will see it on Blue Sky or on Discord. So have a good night and have a good time. See you all tomorrow. Bye.